Hey guys, in this video, we're going to talk about the pros and cons of freelancing versus working at a marketing agency coming up right now. So over the last 10 years, I've worked both as a freelancer and at several different marketing agencies. And in my latest role, I am an associate director of paid social media at one of the largest ad agencies that handles media buying. One of the things I've learned from freelancing that I really like and that you might actually enjoy as well is flexibility, right? You get to pick the clients, the kind of projects that you want to work on. It's on your time. You get to choose when you're going to work, what are your hours of operation for the most part, and you get to choose where you want to work from. So those are all pros that help you be, very flexible with your lifestyle design. You can travel if that's your thing, and you have, the ability to just build your own time as needed. Now, the other part of freelancing that's a big positive is earnings. You can actually make way more money freelancing because depending on what you're doing, you could charge more money for it. Also, you could take the approach of doing value-based pricing versus pricing yourself on an hourly basis. When you're working for a corporation, you're trading time for money. When you're freelancing, you could trade outcomes of the business for money, and you can base that on the value. So for example, if you figure out that you can solve someone's $100,000 problem, well, you can charge 10 grand for that, even if it's only going to take you 100 hours or 10 hours, whatever it is. As long as you can deliver on an outcome, you can charge based on the value. So you have a greater earning potential when you're freelancing, and also you can take on multiple clients. Now you're not constricted, where versus in a corporation, of course, you might get your work done early, and then if you have 8 hours to kill, you're just gonna probably kill that time. Now, if you're like me, you might use that time to learn something or network or be somewhat productive, but odds are you're gonna burn some of that time. So those are some of the pros about freelancing. Now, the cons, and this is why many times I advocate maybe working at an agency might actually be a better approach for you, especially if you're just getting into the workforce. If you're just starting off in your career, why are you freelancing? You haven't figured this stuff out yet. Why not go work for a place that's actually going to give you structure, give you process, give you credibility, introduce you to clients? Why not go somewhere where you can learn how to avoid all the mistakes that you might do on your client's dime? What I would say is some of the cons about freelancing versus working at an agency as well is you're going to wear multiple hats. So yeah, you're making more money, but guess what? You're also the accountant. When clients don't pay you, it's your job to go get that money. You're doing all of the operations. If you need to work with other types of freelancers to get a project completed, you got to go find those people. You got to negotiate. You got to project manage them. You got to keep them accountable. You might also be responsible for communicating key parts of the project back to your freelancers that you're working with. You're responsible for all of that. You are responsible for the outcomes. If the client's not happy with the results or the service, you also have to answer for that. So you're also customer service. So yeah, you're making more money, but you're taking on way more responsibility that if you were working at an agency, there's dedicated people and teams that would handle those things. There's going to be someone that's top notch in the accounting department that's going to make sure you get paid. There's going to be a legal team that's going to protect you to make sure that people can't come for you financially. You're wearing a lot more hats. The other part of it is limited resources. When you're freelancing, you're no longer connected to this greater agency that might have resources in terms of industry knowledge and news. A big agency might have an excellence center that's ongoingly developing best practices, working with partners, whether it's digital marketing platforms like Facebook and Instagram and Pinterest. They might have relationships so that you can get account reps, people that you can directly talk to, and they can help you troubleshoot accounts or validate strategies for you. When you're freelancing, you often are not going to have access to a lot of these resources. Maybe some, but a lot you're not going to have access to information. So these are things to consider. Yes, you do get flexibility. You do get the potential to make more money, but you're going to wear multiple hats, and you might not learn and grow at the same rate because you're not going to have access to a lot of the same resources. So depending on where you're at in your career life cycle, freelancing versus an agency, this is something you might be considering. I tried freelancing when I first started over 10 years ago in the industry, and I found that it was very difficult for me to retain clients and get new clients because it was hard for me to understand what was the important part of my service that people wanted. I didn't have all the frameworks that I have now. I don't have the playbooks that I have now that I was able to get working at agencies. It was very hard for me. And after maybe about a year and a half of trying to freelance full-time out of college, I decided to say, hey, you know what? I'm going to pivot. I'm going to go work for an agency. I'm going to learn from them. I'm going to understand, get context of what I'm doing, how things should be done. And then I'm going to take that information and then I'm going to go and find my own clients so I can increase and bring in more income for myself on a monthly basis. But again, if you're just starting off, maybe freelancing from day one might not be ideal because you're going to go compete with a bunch of other people that might know a lot more than you and have a lot more of a strategic advantage. Where I would recommend, if you have the ability to go work at an agency and learn their processes, I would recommend for you to start there. Absolutely. However, if you're considering jumping ship and you're looking for that flexibility, for that higher income, maybe this is the time to do it. Because right now, as I make this video, the pandemic has accelerated the need for digital, and there's just so many opportunities, particularly with digital marketing. But yeah, those are some of the pros and cons. I hope you enjoyed the video. And as always, tune in and I'll see you guys in a future episode. Peace.